Hello, hello. Welcome to the Sax Creative Experience Week. That's the first class of that week that I'm going to review you the secrets behind the music theory that can help you playing saxophone. You can get confidence, you can learn saxophone through improvisation, and in this week you will gain confidence. You know everything you need to start saxophone from zero, even from zero. So let's start the class. Let's explain you here. So that's the class number one. I'm going to show you that improvisation is possible even from zero. So don't forget to take notes. It's very important. That's just the class one. The class two, you need to know the information I'm going to give you on that class. Okay, so it's important to get ready for everything. Take notes. So let's go. You are welcome here. Leave your comment, engage here, leave your like. Let me know where you are from. If you play something, if you are beginning from zero, let me know here. Let me know more about yourself. Okay. So also, I'm going to start playing something for you. Listen carefully. I'm going to show you something that maybe can encourage you much more to go ahead with your start. Let me just show you a few example playing here on the saxophone, just a few seconds before the class starts. Okay, so now let's start the class. First of all, you just heard three notes. I was improvising here using just three notes. Three notes, only three notes. C, E, and G. During that class, you will understand why it was possible to improvise using just three notes. I'm going to explain you that you don't need play fast scales, no complicated theory. This is improvisation. We can improvise with just three notes. That's possible. Okay? Even if you are starting from zero, improvisation is not magic. It is structure. That structure I'm going to show you. It's about technique. We have specific rules. So you can start learning saxophone already improvising. I'm going to show you on that class. So imagine this. Pick up your saxophone and create melodies without freezing, without guessing, without fear. That's the purpose of that class. I'm going to show you how to develop it. Feeling safe, musical, expressive. This is what we began building here on the class number one of the Sax Creative Experience. Many sax players say, I know scales, but I can't improvise. I feel stuck. I don't know where to start. I'm afraid of wrong notes. Let me know if you have also that profile, because I was that type of guys. If you are that type of saxophone players, I understand you. I was in your position, in your place, few years before. So let me show you my history. My history from mechanical musician to musical freedom. That's me when I was a child in Rio. I'm from Rio, Brazil. I originally from Rio, Brazil. Now I live in the UK. I travel the world. I'm going to show here on my history, but my story began in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. And the early, I was playing when I was child, about 7 years. I played in orchestras, record the orchestras. In the schools, the schools activity, I was always in love with this kind of activity. So I was always involved with it. And then around the 11, I started playing orchestras, clarinet, and saxophone. Music became something serious, uniform, discipline, reading the music, performing different situations. Teenager, I was also deeper on that orchestra, already touring in theaters, civic ceremonies, sport events, even competition, orchestra competition. Teenager already playing, touring. Was not yet professional. It was orchestra in the school, but with very experienced musician, also musician from Navy musician, uh, professional musician, also part of that orchestra. But something was missing from the outside. Everything looked impressive. Everyone was in love with the orchestra. My family was in love. My friends, wow, that's impressive. How can you do that? But in my mind, I felt mechanical. In my mind, I was just reading music. I was reading music. If I tried to improvise, I was not able to improvise. The musical director limited us a lot just to practice the music, reading the sheet music, to execute everything perfectly, synchronized with the other musician. So I felt something very mechanical in my playing. Mechanical playing, repeating riffs, memorized phrases, reading perfectly, the articulation, dynamics, prepared licks, everything. Everything was mechanical for me. I was not able to feel the music inside me. But I was always in love with music. What was happening? So then I decided to start to study jazz. So I contacted one of the top jazz player in Brazil. All Brazil. Brazil is a continental country, but I lived in Rio. I had that luck because Rio is a kind of capital of the music industry of Brazil. So in the same city, I was able to watch them performing in the city, met them in the jam sessions, in different kind of events. So I was always engaged. So I contacted one of the top jazz musician that was performing with many musicians also to give me private lessons to start to understanding what's happening because I was not able to feel music inside me. So at the same time, at that moment, I started to earn money. I became professional. I was about 16, 17 years performing with popular groups the night, playing with rock bands, reggae bands, popular Brazilian folk music. Different because Brazil we have different. We have many folk music, folk styles in Brazil. I was performing with different groups, developing it, experiment the ideas, understanding more about the counterpoint elements in the music that I was still discovering. Okay, but still I was not able to I was not confident yet with my technique. I was able to identify the key, but music for me was still something far, you know. It was a laboratory. I bought many discos to listen during the day, and for example, if in the night I would, for example, if some rock band requested me to perform in the night, for example, a cover band playing Rolling Stones, Beatles, classic rock from the 70s or 60s. So I spent the day listening discography, trying to improvise along the discography. Remember that time was discography. With discography, was not like today. We can access Spotify and everything. So I bought many discos, rock disco, for example, to listen rock bands, to listen during the day and get ready for the night. And then, for example, some groups, samba style, was listening different albums of samba to get ready, improvising with the album. It's still very intuitive. It's still very intuitive. So that was the way I found to get confidence, but I was not able to find confidence. So Every performance became an experiment. So I was experimenting in the real life situation on the stage, testing phrases, uh, but still find, for example, my own licks, my own phrases in specific music, and reproducing it with different groups. Was not understand. I was starting to understand music. I starting to create small licks, but was not, still something missing. I could execute music, but I did not feel true freedom. I was not able to understand what I was already doing. A lot of intuitive songs, intuitive ideas, intuitive phrases. So the big step, I applied to one of the most competitive music university in Brazil. I don't know if you know, but in Brazil there are public university where we don't have to pay. We don't need loan to study there. It's everything funded by the government. But usually this kind of university that has they have strict places, and that specific university of music was very restricted. So we had just 30 places and over 3,000 candidates. As you already know, I had decades of experience playing, studying deep music, so I passed it. I passed it there. So on that moment, I discovered music is not just execution. Music is a language. So that opportunity expanded a lot my mind. That was the moment I started to see music as something universal, something that transcends centuries, transcends styles. Okay, so it was magical for me, but at the same time, techniques. So during that time, I was also able to share a stage with many major Brazilian artists. In that photo, for example, here you can see me performing different situations with Jorge Benjor. I don't know if you know. He is the songwriter of the song Ariário, Oba, Oba, mais que nada. So I performed with him for many years, sharing stage also with different artists in the industry, top industry, jazz musicians, samba musician of samba, even well-known rock musician from Brazil, rap also very well-known musician of the rap. I was sharing stage with them. So I was already involved with this musician, with the music industry, but something was still incomplete. I decided to travel South America in all Brazil. As I told you before, Rio is a small city. Brazil is a kind of continental country. And I decided to travel all Brazil to discover music, folk tradition that I was not able to listen in the industry. If you know some Brazilian music, probably it's because of the industry. Probably it's a music from Rio, because of in the beginning, in the beginning, for example, bossa nova. Maybe you know about bossa nova. Bossa nova. On the time of bossa nova, Rio was a we had the music industry. Rio was capital of Brazil. Today we have another city. Another city is a capital, Brazil capital. But because of that, the songs, well-known songs from Brazil are from Rio, and that's specific part of the industry. Okay, so I decided to travel South America to discover this kind of music that I was not able to discover on the through the industry, through the university, and then I applied everything I was discovering inside this kind of music, the folk music tradition, beyond the industry. And I was giving also workshops, in interview to radios, recording. I recorded many albums. That journey, I was traveling for about between 5 and 10 years, because it was during my graduation. I was traveling a lot South America, selling my own CDs, my composition, because I at that moment I was able to compose, to write arrangements for different groups, traveling, recording. So it was a nice experience for me. So I understood deeply the music, deep in the music. It's after became my master degree project, traveling the world, as band leader, recording, playing festivals around the world. So it was a very interesting experience for me as a way to confirm my knowledge, my music knowledge, confirming that it's universal. Music is a universal language. And then I was exploring my identity. So through this experience, I discovered my musical identity. Now I have many albums. Also on the stage, I have my own style because of many reference, many techniques. So I discovered my identity, and I discovered that confidence through we can gain confidence through understanding what harmony, rhythm, structure, understanding how music works creates confidence. That's exactly what I'm going to show you here on that class. Music makes sense everywhere, different countries, different styles, same musical logic. So music follow the same logic. Saxophone as expression. Saxophone became a body of musical expression. When we are playing saxophone, it's our body. So music is a language. We have the mental side, and we express through the musical instrument. So saxophone is a musical instrument where we express our knowledge. Technique is the body, understanding is the mind. So we have to balance technique and understanding, body and mind. This creates musical freedom. That music freedom I found during my journey. About 20 years exploring, studying deeply. So that's the birth of the method, the Sax Creative Improvisation. I was teaching saxophone through improvisation. I'm teaching for many years, and I developed a method where I teaching saxophone through improvisation. Even if you are starting from zero, that's what I'm sharing here with you. I discovered that the problem was not effort. Can you see? I worked a lot. It was a lot of effort, but because of some techniques I discovered, I was able to find my voice, to find musical freedom, to feel the musicality inside me. So the problem was not effort. The problem was the method. That's the method I'm sharing with you. Traditional methods will teach you scales, theories, but theory, you know, not the theory that you will apply on the real life situation, and the mechanical exercises and repeating exercising without meaning. Maybe improvisation later. I know many professional musician of orchestra that are still playing orchestra for 10 years, 15 years, but they don't know how to improvise. I'm almost sure most of these musicians are not feeling musical yet. Maybe you are one of these musicians. We have here students who is learning saxophone from zero. Maybe you already know some instruments. Maybe you are also a music teacher but don't know how to improvise. So you can confirm that what I'm talking here about is true. So this creates fear, overthinking, mechanical playing, and frustration. The real problem is not talent, is learning order. Learning order, because we have to be creative since the beginning. It's what I'm going to show you here. Scales are important, but when we are playing scales, we are developing embouchure, air support, finger coordination, timing with metronome. Is interesting, but we are not creating. You are not being creative. We need to be creative. Your brain needs to be creative. Okay, that's the process of the learning. The learning process have to be complete. But scale train the body. Your fingering, when we are playing scales, you are developing fingering, your breath, developing embouchure, your sound, Improvisation trains your mind. Music needs balance, body, mind, technique, creativity. Improvisation starts with structure, not freedom, not complexity, structure. When I mean freedom, I mean you can understand what is happening. That's kind of freedom I'm telling you. For example, now I can play many styles. In the end of the saxophone, Sax Creative Experience, you see that method that can help you to understand how music works in different styles. Okay, so once you understand how everything works, you can get freedom. Okay, so improvisation is not random notes. You have to understand the limits and play with it. Okay, so let's start the class. Let's go ahead. I'm going to play here first the scale, C major scale. Let's work on that class on the C major scale. What means C major scales? Scale, remember, read here. Scale is a collection of notes. So C, D, E, F, G, A, B are the 7 notes of the C major scale here. So we can also play the low C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and then the higher frequencies. It's called octave, but still the same notes. I'm going to show you here the example. First octave, second octave. Okay, so we have 2 octaves. These are the notes we are going to use here on that class. Okay, so step 2, build a chord. Have you heard about chords? Let me know here in the comments if you have heard about chords. Here, I wrote here the C. Can you see here in the middle of the screen? The middle of the screen, we have many notes here. C, check here. C, D, E, F, G, A, B. Okay? So, to build a chord, we have to skip a third. For example, chord of C, the first here, C, here, can you see? C, E, G. That's triad. It's called triad because we are using 3 notes. How can we get that chord? How can we find these 3 notes? Check here. C, D, E. We are skipping one. Skip C, skip D, then use E. Okay, and then skip F. Let me expand here. Check here. The first line, C. Can you see here? C, skip D, E. Skip F, G. So in the first line, we have the chord of C. Okay, the first degree. That's the first degree. The second degree is D. In the second line, D, skip E, then F. Okay, that's how we build the chord. But let's focus here just on the first degree, the triad of C, C major chord. Let's focus here. Okay? First improvisation. Let's play just these 3 notes. C, E, G. If you don't know how to play saxophone, just listen because it's a knowledge that can help you to understand how music works, and it can prepare you to learn saxophone in the best way. Okay, so C, E, G, we just need 3 notes. These are the notes I played on the beginning of the class. Okay, so we just need 3, but for now we have to develop rhythm. Once you know how to play C, E, and G, once you develop an embouchure to play these three, we can already play it on time. But we have to understand the rhythm. Okay, the rhythm. Let's play here the chord, but we have to understand that it's 4 beats per bar. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, think about it. I'm going to count here slow. At the beginning of the play along, I'm going to use the play along. Okay, check here. In the beginning, you listen a clip. 1, 2. Okay, let's listen it. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's hold C 4 times, and then E 4 times, and G 4 times also. Now just 2 times. Okay, so we have already that perception of the time. Once you understand the timing, the beats, how many beats we have per bar, we can start to create it. So let's play 1 note per beat, but being creative. You can play these 3 notes as you prefer, but understand that we have to play on time. Okay, let's do it. Okay, so once we understand the timing, we can already be creative. So I use just 3 notes, but in different octaves. Okay, so now you know about it, how to develop the triad, the chords. We can improvise with it. We are developing that kind of exercise. We are developing rhythm, embouchure, sound, confidence, and creativity. You can explore in different manners, just using 3 notes. You are free to explore inside that structure. But it's just 1 chord, just 1 chord. Okay, let's go to the other step. Let's add one more chord, the 5th degree. 5th degree. Remember C, remember the scale. C, G, E, F, G, A, B, C. Now we are going to the 5th degree. Let's add the chord of the 5th degree. Okay, let's play 1 chord and another chord. How can we do it? We can skip 1 also. Let's skip. Look here. 1st degree, 1st degree, C, skip D, E, skip F, G. So we have C, E, G. And then The fifth degree, we have G, skip A, and then play B, skip C, and play D. Okay, so we have the first chord C, E, G, that's the C major, and then we have the chord of G. Can you see here? We have here we have one bar. On the bottom here we have one bar for C, one bar for G, one bar for C, one bar for G. Remember about the timing? We have 4 beats for the chord C, I mean the notes of C, and then 4 bar for the chords of G. Once you are confident with the first step, you can go to the second step. Let's play it again, but now let's play chord of C and chord of G. First, let's just listen and then I can play. Okay? First, listening. Let's go. Listen. C, G, C, and then G. Okay, so it was playing just two chords, so you can feel more dynamics. So note here that also the chord of C and the G both has the G. Can you see here C? C we have C, E, and G. And then this fifth degree we have G, G again, B and D. So if we hold G for in all the bars, it's in harmony. So every time you play G is in safe mode. We have just to be careful, you know. So that's a nice way to develop your creativity now with two chords. So now you can see more colors, more dynamics here. You hear movement, you hear also tension and resolution, because when we are adding new chords, chord has also characteristics. Some chords bring tension, other chords bring resolution. That creates dynamic. That's the grammar side of the music. In the next Sax Creative Experience class, the class number 2, we are going to add even more chords, and you can see it clearly, the grammar side of the music, so you can understand why we play specific notes how can we use it in many songs, the same rules. The important idea, improvisation is not about knowing more notes. It's about the right notes at the right moment. Today you learn a scale. You know about the why we have to practice scale, to understand scales. You know, all the chords we are using these notes. So scale is a selection of notes, as you saw, and we have to use it as a tool. Scale are notes. You saw on the C major 7 notes, and they are tools. Okay, and you also saw here chords, triads, how to develop triad, how to build triads, and the first improvisation, and also two chord movement. You know that it's possible to improvise with just one chord and adding a new chord following the same structure. That's the knowledge. You didn't need advanced theory. You need clarity. Okay, so we improvised here using just 5 notes, different chords. In the beginning of the presentation, I show you how to improvise using 3 notes, very safe. So you can start developing confidence in just one chord and then add a new chord. Okay, that's the way you can develop creativity. You can develop embouchure. You can develop everything. You need to feel the music inside you. The next class, a progression used in hundreds of songs. You see a progression that we use in hundreds of the most well-known songs in the world. I'm going to show you it. The progression, for example, now we are improvising just using 2 chords, and then adding just 2 new chords, we can be able to improvise in hundreds of well-known songs that you know, hundreds of songs that you know, but maybe you don't know the theory behind it. Okay, so I'm going to show you. That is the 1 5 6 4 1 5 6 4, and I'm going to show you many songs that use it. So remember, rewatch again that class, take notes, because that class is very important for you to get ready for the class number 2, and everything will start to make sense for you. I'm sure that you can understand deeper how everything works and get ready to learn a saxophone even from zero. Stay with me, gain musical freedom. Musical freedom is not about talent, it's about structure, and that structure is what I'm showing you on this masterclass. So don't forget to leave your like here, leave your comment, rewatch that class, take notes, rewatch as much you can, and yes, see you in the class number 2. See you.